Hello guys, if you like my awesome gaming videos, my programming and web development courses, my editing courses and editing videos, and my tech talks and tech guidance, then you can consider subscribing to my channel and click on this bell icon to stay connected with me all the time. Okay. Hello guys, welcome to my channel. So in this video, we're going to talk about a very important sorting algorithm called bubble sort algorithm. So in the previous video, I talked about and worked with the quick sort algorithm here, as you can see. I worked with how you can do it properly, what is the best use case of it, and its time complexity, and what are the JavaScript knowledge you need to have in order to implement the quick sort algorithm. Like, as you can see, the recursion, as I am using the Node.js environment, I have to use this node. So node bubble sort algo.js. As you can see, it's running perfectly. So let me show you how we can do this. Let me go to our paint application and let's check it out. Value 1, then I have a value 4, then I have 2, then I have 8, then 43, and suppose 31. Okay, so these are the values we have. So basically these are our index. This is index number 0, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, and 5. So these are all the index. So what we need to do here, we just need to compare within a for loop. As you can see, we showed iterate through every single element in this list. So that's why you need a for loop. This is very important. So we need a for loop here, which is it is a very important thing. So first it will go to 1 and it will check if 1 is greater than 4. No, 1 is not greater than 4. 1 is not definitely greater than 4. So it is perfect. We don't need to do anything. So this is perfect. So we are comparing with the 0 index with the immediate index after it. We have to compare this index with this immediate after index. Very simple. Then we have to compare this one index, this one index and its immediate after index. So we already work with this, so this is done. Now we have to work with these two index, 1 and 2, and check if the previous, this one index is greater than 2. As you can see, 4 is greater than 2. So this condition satisfied. So this index value, which is 4, is obviously greater than 2. So they should be swapped. So 2 should be inside the position of 4 and 4 should be swapped to the position of where the value 2 resides. So here we what is the value final result? First we have the 1, which is already done. Then we are swapping these two values because 4 is greater than 2, and so index of 1 value, the value which holds the index number 1, obviously this is greater than 2. Then in that case only we need to swap. So we definitely 4 is greater than the value of the index of the next. So 1 and 2 are the index. So as you can see, 1 is the previous index and 2 is the after index. So if the previous index, as you can see, 1 is greater than 2, in that case, then we need to swap. So 2 here, and in the place of 2, we need to just replace 4. Very simple. So they are sorted. Perfect. Then what we have to do, now we need to compare this 4 and 8. Okay, this 4 and 8 should be compared. Now as you can see, this is index number 2, this is index number 3. So obviously 4 is not greater than 8, so it is sorted properly. We don't need to do any other thing. So they are sorted. So they are sorted. Then we need to compare again. Let me choose another color, this 8 and 43. So these two should be compared and its index is 4. Okay, so you have to check if 3 and 4, if 3 index value is greater than 4. So 3 index value is 8, so 8 is not greater than 43. So there is some, so it should be on its place. Okay, so our final result is 1, 2, 4, 8, 43. Now we need to compare the value of these two index, which is 5. So we need to compare 43 and 31 now. So 43 obviously greater than 31. So this condition satisfied. On the previous index, as you can see, previous index 4 is greater than is after index. Only then we have to swap. Okay, so 31 should be inside the 43. So let me remove this thing. We need to put 31 here and 43. These are the two values that need to be swapped because the previous index value is greater than the after one. Only in that case we swap the value. So we need two loops. We need do while loop, do all of the thing till the swapping is complete. For swapping we need one loop, and for iterating over every single values, 1, then 2, then 3, and then 4, we need for loop. So that's why we need two loops. So that's why the time complexity for the worst case becomes n square, and for the best case it should be n. When we don't need any swapping, just iterate through it. So these are the two things you have to understand. For two loop, we must have to multiplicate them. So that's why n times n, which is n square total. Okay, so that is how the sorting is done, very simply. So first we need to build a function so that we can sort it, and we're going to use our latest ES6 arrow function. Beautiful. We just need an array so that we can work with it. To take one variable called swapped and use do while loop. Okay, do while loop runs. Loop is very important in bubble sort because we have to run it at least one, so that we can just compare if 1 is greater than 4 or not. Okay, we just need to check at least one time. So do while loop is very important, and here we need to write do while this swapping is true. In the beginning, the swapped value is equal to false, because in the beginning we don't need to swap. Okay, if 1 is greater than the 4, then we need to swap. So all the time we don't need to sort them or swap them. Okay, so in the beginning it is false. We have to sort them while the swapping is true. So swap them until the swap, we can swap it if it is swappable. If the left portion is greater than the right portion, only then you can swap it. Okay, so that's why we need do while loop at least one time, so that we can check if it needs swapping or not. Okay, so here again another part is very simple. Just use simple for loop. For I is equals to 0, it will start iterating over 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. And here we need to write array dot length -1. It will go up to the length -1, and it means that it will go to up to the last index element. Okay, and I++, it will iterate over first 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, all of the index values. And here we just need to check inside the for loop. We have to check if, and this part is very important. So I'm the array, and here we need to go to the array index. First, the array index is I. Array index I means it will go first index number 0, which is 1. The value in the index value of 0 is equals to 1. So first the index is 0 and its value is 1. Simple. So first you start from the 0 index and its value is 1. Okay, then we will check, then we have to just check if it is greater. To check if it is greater than its next element. Next element is I+1. I+1 is actually 4. So our 0 index value is equals to 1, and our 1 index value is equals to 4. Okay, so then we have to compare it. Our 0 index value is 1, and our next index is 0 plus 1, which is obviously 1, and its value is equals to 4. As you can see, its value is 4. So what does that mean? We just wrote here this index value. If in the first iteration the array of I is equals to 0, so a 0 index value is 1. We are comparing it if it is greater than 0 plus 1. So that's why we need I+1. So 0 plus 1, which is 1, and its value is 4. If it is greater than 4, no, because 1 is smaller than 4. It is not greater than 4. If it is greater than 4, if that condition satisfied, then we can only swap it. Otherwise we don't need. So if when this condition is true, when 1 or the index value of 0 is greater than the index value of its next one, which is I+1, as you can see, when this value is greater, then we can swap it. Otherwise we not. In that case, as you can see, we don't need to swap because 1 is smaller than 4. Okay, so we don't need to swap. They are already sorted. So only in that case, when suppose here 8 is greater than 43. Okay, so when, as you can see, in that case there was 43 and for 31. So 43 is definitely this is the previous value, so it is greater than its after value, after index value, which is I plus 1. So then we can swap them. We can swap 31 and 43. Then we just iterate over again and to other two values. If we can sort it, then next two values and next two values. So this is the same way we'll in the pattern. So this is the same pattern we just follow. Okay. So in JavaScript, what you can do, very simple way we can swap it. You just need to swap these two values. Put I plus 1 value back to I. So how we can do? First we have to go to array of I and we have to write I plus 1. When this condition is true, as you can see in this condition, the I is greater than its next index value, then we have to swap them. Then what we have to do, we need to write the exact opposite of it. In this place we need to write I plus 1 and here we just need to write I. So whatever you write here, just write the opposite of it. As you can see here, I plus 1. Here we need to, in this case, we need to swap it with I plus 1 in case of I. Simple. Now these two values should be sorted. Now what the answer should be? It should be 1. And in case of 4, we don't need to sort. And then we need to sort 4 and 2 because this 4 index value is greater than 2. Then we need to swap 2 with 4. As you can see, this is the same thing that this line do. Okay, we are just swapping those two values, these two values. Okay, we're just swapping them, and this is the very easy way how you can swap it. So there are some other complicated way. They use temp is equals to array of I, okay, and then use array of I plus 1, and they put array of I and temp is equals to array of I, so plus 1. So this is the way they swap it, but I don't like this thing. So this is the best way to do, just one line you can swap it. And then you need to do one thing, you need to check swapped is equals to true, because when this condition is true, you will need to make sure your swapping is done and make sure the swapped is true. Otherwise, in the beginning, it should start with swapped is equals to false, because in the beginning, we might not need the swapping. So it is better to use swap is equals to false in the beginning before we start going inside the for loop. Okay, so this is very important, and this will do continuously until the swapping is completed. Okay, so now make sure it is smaller now, and now we need to just call bubble sort. You need to put the numbers of array. Here you can console.log numbers of array. So what we need, we just need to call the bubble sort, and it takes one parameter array, and just put them and just write it. So let me check if there is any error or not. As you can see, it is sorted 1 2 4 8 31 43 and 63. It is very simple bubble sort, and I think you guys enjoyed this sorting a lot because this is very simple, very easy to understand, and in this way you can sort in JavaScript for the bubble sort algorithm. You just need to write this code, you just need to understand this logic, how you can implement it. So this is the way you will build your logic in JavaScript, and JavaScript is the king of all the programming languages, you know. So it you can use in web development, Android, iOS, mobile development, all the steps you can do this. So that's why the understanding all the logics and algorithms and data structures in JavaScript is very important. So I hope you understand a lot of things in this video. And also let me show you the time complexity for the best case. As you can see, for the best case, it is not all the time you will have the best case, so it is order of n. Most of the cases you will face the worst case. So it is, as you can see, we have used two loop, do and do while loop, and inside do while loop we have a for loop. So it is definitely n times n, which is O of n square time complexity. So it is not that efficient. The bubble sort is not that efficient. As you can see, the best case and average case always would be order of n square. In the best case, sometimes you will find it order of n, but order for is compulsory because you have to iterate through all the array element, as you can see, at least one. So you have to check it. We have to just swap them at least one time. Okay, at least one time. And also you need to go to the for loop or definitely in order to check that condition, at least one. So you have to use best case order of n, which is you will not face this often. Most of the cases you have to understand what is the worst case, and based on that we just calculate which is the best algorithm. So as you can see, but in the quicksort, I already told about the quicksort is one of the best algorithm. As you can see, the best case is n log n, or average case is n log n, because it divides all of them by 2 by left array and right array, and in the middle we have a pivot. So there's some differences. Quicksort is much better than bubble sort, which as you know already by now, but the worst case of the quicksort is also not good, which is n squared, but the average case is pretty good compared to the bubble sort. So these are all the things you have to understand, analyze if you want to be a really good engineer, and understand the core concept of how the time complexity, space complexity, and how they work, and compare it with different kinds of algorithms. This is the way to understand all these algorithms. This is the reason we understand and read this algorithm, so that we can build our logic and understand what is the best possible way to implement something from yourself. So till then, take care, bye bye. I'll see you in the next video with more awesome and beautiful content in the near future.